Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Incho Suni.
Hello everyone. I'm Korean monk, even though I'm Russian. I came to Korea in 1998, so it's more than 14 years I'm staying in Korea. Not continuously, but from time to time I have to go to different places. We have several centers in different countries, so every year, 2-3 times I go in several months I stay abroad. But when this time I was asked about, to tell you about some experience of mine in Korean Buddhism. So I'm a foreigner, and it's pretty hard, I had some difficulties also here, but the experiences what I had here, all was, they were really interesting, exciting. So I want to tell you today about one of them. It's Gangwon. We call it Gangwon. Gangwon is a traditional monks' college. It's quite different what you know about colleges. It's really different. The system of Korean Gangwon was created about 300 years ago, and for 300 years it came to these days neither changed as it is. So it always, excited me so much, study just as monks did 300 years ago. No changes. Of course, now we have electricity, fridges, and so on. But Gangwon is a very special place. I spent in Korea 2 years studying Korean, Chinese characters, because in Gangwon everything we study, every book we study in ancient Chinese. So that's really difficult thing. I asked my teacher, his name was Won Myung-senim. I said, Senim, I want to go to Gangwon. He was, why? What are you going to do there? Many foreigners tried, nobody could, all failed. From different countries, from Canada, from Australia, from different countries, nobody could, graduate. So I thought, no, Senim, I really want, because that was one of my purposes to come to Korea. It was so interesting for me. So he said, okay, just go. And I went. That was 12 years ago. For 4 years, I had really hard time. I can say, in our group, we had about 37 persons. Only 16 graduated. I was only foreigner. In our group, in our Gangwon, in the beginning, later next year, one guy from England came, one guy from Bangladesh. Then again, next year from Bangladesh, one guy, and now all the time there is 1 or 2 foreigners there. But I was first who graduated. Before me, several tried, but couldn't make it. So, when I was going there, I thought that I will study sutra very hard. I will study Buddhist texts, all this wisdom, ancient wisdom was so attractive. So I went there and I figured out that we don't really study so much. We study hard, but my mind and minds of my friends were occupied with different things. We busy all the time, organizing, doing something, cleaning, so many things. So I was confused actually, pretty much. What is this? What am I doing? We're just working very hard. So I went to teacher, one of our teachers, lecturers, and asked him, Chang Snim his name. I said, Snim, what's going on? Why don't we put all our energy to study? He said, you are putting your energy in all these studies, you just don't understand. What's the main thing what we study here? He said, only 30% of our energy we spend on study sutras. The rest of 70% we put in our community life. That's the main subject that we study. Later I understood, it took 2.5 years to understand these simple words, because, first year, every day, I remember from first year I was on the edge of my physical limits and mental limits. It was always just, stress every day. So every day, every single day, I wanted to run away. I couldn't, because if I run away, I go to our center, see my teacher. What would I say to him? So that's actually that was the reason why I didn't go first year. Second year was a little bit easier, but also quite difficult. But third year, I understood that, in Buddhism we say that we have ego. Our ego is very big. So sometimes just two person in one room, in one home, they cannot stay together because their egos so big. It's not the house or room. It's just too small for their egos. It's too big. So in Kangwon, in this traditional education, we learn that community, that's the main thing, and I, with my likes and dislikes, it's just secondary. But if I put it in front, then we break all harmony. So what we learned there, we call it hashim. Ha means to put down. Shim is our heart. We need to put it, we can say in English, we just become a little bit moderate. We just step back, just one step, to give space to the group, to all people. So it's actually quite different with the Western idea of what is society, because in the Western world, me and my desires, my ideas, my habits, my family is the priority. And in Korea, especially in places like this, in Kangwon, nobody cares about what you like and what is you dislike. And in the beginning, it's pretty big shock, but later on, you understand that that's only the way to live harmonious life. You think about people around you, and then it becomes so pleasure. I never had that good life as we had when I was fourth year student. For 1 year, we never, or even slightest thing we can solve without fighting. Even small things, never. After lecture, I remember that feeling when you want to go to the restroom for Concord, because the atmosphere was so nice, and then I understood that happens when we think about people who live around us. So that's a very important thing what I learned in Kangwon. Of course, there's many interesting things, but I'm already running out of time. So anyway, that's Kangwon system for foreigners in the beginning difficult for all, and for Koreans actually as well, because out of 37 persons, 21 who ran away, all of them were Koreans. There was no foreigners. Even for them it was difficult. But I graduated, and that was my best experience in my life actually. Every day learning something new about people, learning something new about myself, what I couldn't even imagine, That was really good, that was very nice. Okay, thank you for listening.